Hello everyone, this is Test Chamber. I'm your host Andrew Reiner, and this is Lost Planet 3, a new game from Spark Unlimited and Capcom. Bryan Vore is at the controls here.
Hey.
You played the living hell out of this for a good week, and stress hell a little bit, right?
Yeah. Well, it is a little stressful, but not too bad. I would say.
Can we show that?
It does look kind of gross. But I will say I was a big fan of the first two games. I just liked how over the top they were and crazy. And you remember the second game was all about co-op and craziness. This scales back from that. It is all about the single player and a story of this fella here, Jim Payton, with a beard.
So the first game was set on E.D.N 3, which was like Hoth, basically. It was so cold that everybody had to wear masks and these big, heavy suits, and they would die if they didn't absorb this orange goo that was like left by these aliens. Mm-hmm. What's this guy's deal? Like, is he like putting himself in like a tauntaun every once in a while, or how does he not have a mask and he's on this planet again?
Well, we're up and close and personal here. One cutscene explains that little orange collar he's got there.
Mm-hmm. His kind of stick or something
blasts heat up into his face, and uses that. That's instead of a helmet or a mask or any kind of hat. So, and then this hood in the back never goes up. It seems like that would be good for keeping warm.
You're making that up, right?
No. There's all kinds of weird explanations.
Like summer on the planet, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of weird explanations, like a little pistol action here. You can turn on. You remember this? There's all kinds of weird explanations for plot stuff. One of them is like you're kind of this outer space trucker, right? With trying to make money for your wife and son at home, and you get these little like video messages from them, which is great.
You're making that up too, right? He's not a space trucker.
Basically, except his truck is a giant mech, which you will be able to see hopefully later on in this preview here, or this test chamber.
And this is a prequel story to Lost Planet 1.
Yes, this is basically he's like Nevik is settled on this planet and doing experiments, and
he works for Nevik.
He's working for Nevik as a contractor.
Okay. They need space truckers.
And I'm trying to remember how to switch weapons. There we go. And they need contractors to go in and do these missions. Like right now, there is a thermal energy post that is leaking, and we need to seal it up so we can get that thermal energy.
But why do you need the thermal energy when you have those cool little neck bands?
It's weird. Thermal energy in this game used to be all about your health, but now it's your currency.
Okay.
So you're collecting it all. Let's see.
That is disgusting.
Oh,
I do not like the way that moves.
That guy blocked my grenade. So now it's your currency, and you use it to buy upgrades, different guns, things like that.
So all this right here so far looks a lot like Lost Planet. Lots of enemies, just kind of nonstop running and gunning. Mm-hmm. What's the big difference, or is there one, between Lost Planet 1 and this?
Well, the biggest difference would be the kind of home base area and more the leveling. Like you've got before you'd have like cinematics talking to people, but now it's like there's a full base. You can walk up to people, have conversations. You don't really get much out of that. You basically get story or like meet some people, but there's some people that give. There's like maybe 2 or 3 people that give missions.
Okay, so it's more of an open world with a base and mission givers then.
Yeah. And yeah, just places to buy and upgrade things.
So you can come back to this cave whenever you want.
That's right, yeah. Back and forth. In fact, once you unlock this, you like get this T-post like all figured out. Every once in a while it'll remind you, hey, come on back. It's ready for more thermal energy collecting. And you basically fight all these same guys again and get more money.
So what is your health system if you're not freezing to death or you're not drinking this orange Tang stuff?
Well, it's basically the standard, stop getting hit for a while, and then your energy will come back. You'll see crap come up on the screen, and once you get too many hits in a row without getting a rest, you'll die.
So the waypoints from the other 2 Lost Planets are still there?
Yeah, these posts are more of just like a hidden thing to find. Right now you're listening to an audio log. Diaz is the person you're replacing. She went missing. So this is one of the last things that she did, was set up a T-post.
I like all the trophies you're getting right now.
It really rains them down, especially in the beginning. And most of them are for single player. Some of them are for the multiplayer, which this is all going to be single player stuff we're seeing here.
You know, Brian, I started playing Lost Planet 2 with a friend of mine. We enjoyed the game quite a bit. And I know you and I played it too and enjoyed it. But we just started playing it a few months ago, and the community is still thriving for that game. I was surprised. Like, we found lots of people to play it with us.
Yeah.
Is it similar in scope in multiplayer for the versus component, like from Lost Planet 1, or what kind of direction did they go in with this one?
This is pretty standard, third-person multiplayer. Like, it's got team deathmatch. It's got a take on capture the flag where, like, an acrid will show up and everyone tries to kill it, while also like shooting each other. And then once that thing dies, there's a flag that drops, and you grab that flag and take it where it needs to go. There's also like a bunch of fighting over different zones, and
it's actually a flag that drops out of the acrid?
Well,
or
it's
is it like a heart or something cool?
I think it's like a T energy canister or something weird, like some techno thing. And then there's like a kind of half horde mode where you sit in your 2 different teams of 3 are in different rooms on this map, just fighting waves and waves of bad guys. And the first to hit a certain number gets unlocked to go to this central area where you do like a zone defense. And then the other team comes out and you guys are fighting over that zone. And it's perfectly fine. Mix of stuff. But
does it have like a big progression system, like leveling up character or buying weapons, stuff like that?
Yeah, it's actually pretty serious. It's called the progression sphere. It's like a big globe full of all these hexes everywhere, and you start out in the middle, you can branch out, spending money you've earned in multiplayer matches, get new weapons and new perks and abilities and things like that. So what I like about that over 2 is that you can pick how you want to upgrade yourself, rather than relying on that weird slot machine system they had in 2.
Right. That's always, I thought that was fun, the slot machine system, but to get what you wanted, it came up to luck, whereas that's nice to know that if you wanted to sculpt your character a certain way, you could do that in this.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny to get those silly like taunts and names for a while, but then it's like, you know what? I just want to upgrade my machine gun. Like, please let me do that. That was weird. I didn't press a roll. So you get a little melee action there.
And this one's developed by Spark Unlimited. The first 2 were from Capcom.
Yeah, those were internal Capcoms.
So it's another move from Capcom, like Devil May Cry, having a Western developer handle it.
Exactly, yeah. These are the guys, Spark is the guys that did Legendary, and what was that other one?
Turning Point?
Turning Point, yes. Those are from what, 2008? They both kind of came out. So this is your only rig.
Wait, what? You only have one mech this time?
Yeah, one gigantic rig instead of a sleek, small, fast one.
What do they call them? ARs? The Acrids are the bad guys, or the indigenous life?
Yep.
Smash!
Yeah, the Acrids are the bad guys. These are called vital suits in later games.
Yeah.
But in here, this is your rig. See, the trucker thing keeps going forward.
Who's the woman up top there on that picture?
I guess we'll have to wait to find out after this load screen is done. But she's your wife.
Okay.
You record messages to send to her, and she sends you recorded stuff.
That's sweet.
And apparently you guys have a son. I never saw visual proof in the entire game. She's like, oh, he's sleeping. Yep. Oh, wait. Oh, it sounds like he's waking up. I want to go. Like, there's so many weird workarounds so they don't have to worry about like rendering a baby or a toddler.
So you were like, man, maybe I'll eventually see this kid, and you just never do.
Yeah. Never in the whole game.
How's the rest of the story? It's more story driven than the other Lost Planets, but how is it? Is it engaging? Is it something people enjoy?
You know, it seems like it. You know, it might be kind of cool. They start out with this guy Jim Payton using kind of being stuck under a rock. And he's an old man, and he's talking to his granddaughter, space granddaughter.
Do you see Space Granddaughter?
Yep. Okay. She's like, oh man, you're gonna be okay. And he's like, hey, while we're stuck in this cave and I'm under a rock, why don't I tell you about my adventures?
How long was he under this rock?
I mean, the whole game. I mean, he kind of pops in every once in a while to talk about it. You know, he flashes back. It's like, oh man, that's when I met blah blah blah. And well, this sure sucks being under this rock still. So you're an engineer, so you can fix stuff just like Isaac.
Engineering mini games. Please go away.
Yeah. And sometimes storms happen and they mess up your rig a little bit.
So your rig looks pretty cool. Can you go to third person like the other Lost Planet games, or is it just strictly first person?
The rig in this game is strictly first.
And you have a cool little claw and some drilly things over there. Do you get guns? Do you get like big rocket launchers and stuff like that?
So this falls in the line of like, this is why we don't wear helmets. There's also a space rule from Nevik, like, hey, this is a scientific thing, so you can't have any weapons on your mech. So all these things have to be like, oh, these are just scientific tools on my mech. So if you remember Metroid Other M, when they told you couldn't use weapons, even though there are plenty of probable weapons laying around, you just never get to use them.
That's weird. That's as weird as the heat collar thing. The other Lost Planets, you could jump out of your mech and rip off the machine gun arm and run around with that and shoot giant, huge monsters with that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a prequel, so that gun ripping technology did not exist yet, apparently.
And that rule, I guess. They got rid of that, I guess. Maybe we're going to let mechs have... This planet is freaking dangerous. Go ahead and bring your rocket launchers.
Yeah, I think at that point it becomes Nevik versus the Snow Pirates forever. So it's like, all right, no bones about it. We got to put weapons on everything now.
So what is the benefit of first person? What is the gameplay like? It seems like you just got to get really close to an enemy and swing at them. Is that kind of it? Yeah,
it's kind of like Punch-Out in some ways. Like you can tap a button and it'll swipe and do a 3-hit arm combo. And then there's like a block, so you have to kind of block at the last second. So also you have a space radio in your rig, so it plays stuff like this.
Like Space Country?
Yeah. It's none of it has words or anything. It's all just kind of...
Look how big he is.
Yeah, this is the home base.
That looks really nice, actually.
Huh. Totally Hoth.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone loves you can see. I think you're a really cool dude. But this is how long it takes to get just to your parking spot every time.
So, as you're playing, I obviously started thinking about Dead Space 3 a little bit and just playing that. I didn't like that game very much. I felt like I spent a lot of time backtracking, going through doors, waiting for doors to load, waiting for elevators to come down. It kind of sounds like you're running into that problem with this game too, is there's a lot of backtracking. Mission givers aren't in the right spots at times. How much time would you say is spent just kind of navigating? Is that a big portion of this game?
Yeah, thank God there's eventual fast travel that opens up. But otherwise, you're just slowly creeping along in that mech. These long, like icy rock hallways. This base, I just got to go talk to this commander guy, and I got to go in this elevator. And I mean, look at this. This load screen just takes forever to get through. And there's particularly one quest giver that's super deep into the base, and it takes seriously like 5 minutes to get to him because you got to go through one of these elevators, then run all the way to the end of the map, and then go to another elevator, and then there's like 3 or 4 more like locked doors and small elevators and stuff. You have to just stand there while the door unlocks, like, and there's no reason they had to put the guy way back there.
Can you just fast travel to him once you get it, or once you reach him?
Nope.
So you could just fast travel to the base, and then you got to go all the way through it.
Yes.
Okay.
You can't travel to specific spots in the base. The fast travel's pretty basic. You have to be in the mech, about to walk into another map screen, and then you can fast travel to these big, like 7 or 8 general locations. But if you're just a guy, you can't just bring up a pause screen and go.
So how is it, Brian? I mean, you reviewed it for us. The gameplay seems like it's kind of fun. I liked what I saw there of the run and gun stuff. Obviously, we didn't get to see the mech tear anybody apart or fight Glass Joe in a Tyson battle, like you're saying. How does this stack up to the series?
I would say it's got the gunplay and the combat, but it's just the overall story and presentation is just plain, I guess, boring. I guess it's a lot of kind of repeated areas and environments, and just getting around is such a slog. Like the mech is so slow, and it just is like, oh, I know where I need to go, but you just have to spend all that time getting there and going through all these screens. It's just, there's just a lot of little frustrating things that add up, and there's just so many tropes, I guess, in the story that, you know, I didn't really feel drawn in, even though that was kind of a major focus this time.
And what score did you give it?
I gave it a 6 on console and 6.5 on PC.
What was the benefit of the PC one? Just better graphics or just faster loads? What was the reason for the bump there?
Well, you've got like very, very, very nice graphics. The lighting looks really nice, and this is pretty standard stuff for PC. Loads are faster, and I really liked the mouse and keyboard control option, because not only do you get like super accurate shots on the orange bits, but you also like see how long it takes to turn around in this thing on a controller. Like with a mouse, you can just be like, whoosh. So it speeds up the feel, which is, I think, a big problem for the game, is how slow even the mech, the on foot, everything feels slow. But with mouse, you can really just whoosh, get the 45-degree turns. I mean, they do have a 90-degree turn button, but there's times when you need to turn 45 degrees and see other things, and like it just adds a lot to the speed and the feel of the game, I thought.
That Space Burrito was ridiculous. There was some serious guitar shredding going on while
Do you guys want to hear a couple tracks?
Not
like,
really.
There's a lot of different ones, and they're all kind of weird.
That's a really weird choice.
But as you can see, I mean, we're constantly staring at, and then it's like,
okay, slight problem.
you're always, I mean, in here you've always just like repairing crap with the mech, and it's not particularly exciting after a while just to be twisting stuff and grabbing it. I don't know.
And Brian, can you just jump out of the mech at one point? There was something I saw when I walked by your desk, and I didn't think you were playing Lost Planet there for a second. We'll end it with this.
Oh, cockpit is locked.
Of course it is.
Maybe I can get out when we'll go out this door here. I think we should be able to.
That was totally Hoth's door right there.
Oh, yeah.
That looks cool.
Yeah, that is the crashed ship that they've kind of used they use the parts to kind of make a base.
So one more question for you. Before we show this, do they have big, giant acrids the size of that? Because in the last two, you had just enormous boss battles.
This one's just got, they're kind of like waist up to here on the mech, maybe. You kind of look down at all of them. They're just not as crazy spectacle as you saw in part 2. I mean, those things were just ridiculously enormous, and I mean, there's a lot of you running around. You like shoot at them, do dodges, and that's pretty much how every boss battle goes on foot. And then when you're in the utility rig, you're just kind of
I love that little animation.
you're just kind of bashing them like this,
okay,
or like dodging or using drills and things like that. So
and
there's a block too.
all right,
but
now let's show off. This is what I thought you were playing something else when you showed this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you may recognize that from another space exploration series.
That's not just inspiration. That is 100% stolen. That is the exact same system.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to deny like what
cool.
other inspiration it would be.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's Lost Planet. It's out now on PS3, 360, and PC. Thank you, Brian, for this deep look at it. I wish we could have shown a little Tyson battle, but that's a pretty thorough look, I think. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Jason A. Stryker, for putting this together. We'll see you next time on Test Chamber.